All right. Hey, guys. So, lots to talk about
You're
today.
watching
Oh, wait. Let me kill
Silver.
this real quick. Don't want that to play. All right. Hopefully, everybody's having a good morning. Say hello in chat if you're here for the 11 people, 12 people. Looks like there's more coming in. Very excited. I haven't really done one of these in like a week. I didn't, after the debate, I was a little depressed. I won't lie. I didn't really love what happened there. To me, it seemed like, the questions were given and there was some funny business going on. And I was pretty down about the political scene and just had to escape for a while. But we're going to try and bring it back to reality today and make it clear on kind of where we're sitting. So, at first glance, and I still have to update my browser to see if I can get rid of some of these extra ads. I'm going to try and do that after this because I just hate this. It's just messes with your visuals. So we do see data that's interesting. Data for progress. This is Democratic Polar says that Harris is up by 4. Morning Consult, which is usually biased by more than double digits in the wrong direction or close to double digits in the wrong direction, depending upon the results, towards the Democrats, says Harris is up by 5. The New York Post has Harris up by 3. Again, usually pretty left leaning. And Reuters, honestly, Ipsos is not much better, showing up by 5. So a number of these are showing just a massive win for Harris and starting to skew things to the upside. But what I want to point out here, I want to be clear about history, what history tells us. And the same time frame in 2020 with Biden, he was up by 7.1 points, whereas Harris is up by 1.7 now. Also, Hillary Clinton in 2016, around the same time of the election cycle, was up by 2.3. So keep it in perspective that even with this new polling data and some of this being more biased towards the left, we're seeing Harris not doing as well as Hillary Clinton and definitely not doing as well as Joe Biden. I think these are very important points to think about. And I will get into more polling related data later too. We're going to hit a few points right now, but I'm going to really try and make this a main focus in some of this going forward. Let me get caught up with chat. Kyle says, let's go. Play Nicole Shanahan's new video. Who really are the MAGA people? Beautiful short vid. Does it have music playing in it, Kyle? Let me know if it has music playing in it, but otherwise I'm down. All right, real quickly. So I wanted to show a couple of things. So Pennsylvania, Polymarket, as of September 12th, just a day and a half ago, about 36 hours ago, has Trump winning by 4 points. This is after the debate. And again, these are betting markets, but it's still fascinating to see this. And there might be other reasons for that, too. There's some stuff legality-wise with paper ballots getting thrown in the drop boxes that aren't dated and things that are happening in Pennsylvania that would make it very difficult for anybody to be able to do anything to alter the election results from what they would normally be. Sorry, I'm trying to use my words carefully here. And so I think Peter Thiel says fortify the election. So that's good stuff. That's really interesting. Polymarket also has the odds of Republicans winning back the Senate by 76%. This is the thing that gives me the most hope that even if something were to happen, and let me know if my mic is too loud, guys. I've switched things up a little bit here, so I might have louder volume on the mic, and I don't want it to like be overbearing and make you guys go deaf. Maybe I'll change it to a 6 here. Let me see. I'll change it to a 6 for the DB and see if that helps. Because I want to be able to have you hear me, but I also don't want to blow out your eardrums. Very important stuff. All right. So yeah. So this is interesting, right? So this means that even if Trump were to lose, the power that Kamala Harris would have would be very, very low, and she would only be able to pass executive orders. She could still crush us with illegal immigration, but she wouldn't be able to do any of the crazy tax bill stuff that she's been talking about. So this is promising, right? This gives hope that the end is not nigh. All right. Also, Pennsylvania court, I was just talking about this a second ago, just ruled that undated or misdated mail-in ballots will not be counted in this election. And you can see some videos of people stuffing ballots. It says Trump just won the election. Kamala has no path without winning Pennsylvania. So, and again, we saw in that Pennsylvania poll from a few days ago that Trump was winning in that state. So that's good. And I won't say has no path. There's like a 93, 94% probability for Trump if he does have that happen. Now, this is pretty biased towards the right in this polling related data. but we see Detroit Free Press, Trump up one, the Detroit News, Trump up one, Insider Advantage up one, Trafalgar a tie, Americans for IVF coefficient tie, CBS News Harris one. But this is a good sign, and this isn't. So this is a I should say this. I should word this better. This is a little more right leaning on some of these publications, but this isn't the only one that's showing that Michigan, that Trump stands a good chance of winning Michigan, which is wild because that is not the easiest state to win, especially with all the unionization there in the auto sector. But again, I don't think things are as bad as people make them out to be. Mark Mitchell, he is one of the heads at Rasmussen. I think he is the head. He posted something from Johnny Maga that I thought was fascinating. It says debate closing statements. It says 4 million views for Kamala on her TikTok thing, or I'm sorry, yeah, whatever. Oh, the closing statements on ABC News. It says 4 million views for hers, 18 million for Trump. That's fascinating data points. Also, Rasmussen just did their 855 post-debate responses, and the average showed that Trump is winning. And again, this is days after, now 2.5 nights after the post-debate. It shows that Kamala's dropping, and I think a lot of this is because of the accusations about her sorority sister. Basically, ABC News promising that they would fact check Donald Trump, not fact check her, and that her sorority sister might have, just an accusation, might have given the answers and questions to them ahead of time. Oh, by the way, I think we're streaming on X too. Yeah, we are, Kevin. Awesome. All right, so let me get through a few questions here. Hey, Jesse, happy Saturday. Hope you're feeling better. I am doing good, man. I'm doing a lot better today. Stuffy Nose is almost gone too. Kyle Wright, it's got instrumentals. Not sure if it would be demonetized. That's the tough part. I hate that, man. I really have to bet things ahead of time. Not that I won't be demonetized anyway, but I always fight it. Kevin, very good. I have so much faith in Trump's economy, and most of all, excited for Elon to get in there and slash taxed zombie departments. I agree, Kevin. It's going to be great. It's nice to see you guys on X too. Good morning, Kenny on X. Good morning, Brandon on X. Yes, Jesse, what's up? But yeah, there's a lot of things happening. But I think, so again, and if you guys don't know this, we're going to talk about this in a little bit too. Trump actually proposed tax break for people doing overtime. I think it's brilliant. I think Trump's tax plans, especially, I think lowering corporate tax rates, locking in his existing tax cuts, and then not taxing Social Security to where you're helping the elderly, then not taxing overtime pay so that people that work hard can benefit. I'm going to back up my mic. Again, let me know if it spikes too much, guys. But people that work hard can benefit from that hard work by having a much bigger pot of money. And so you would improve from an economic data standpoint. You guys know I love economic data. The productivity numbers would skyrocket if you got a bunch of people working overtime. And then it wasn't because the company was paying double, triple time. It was because these people wanted to get all that overtime because they don't have any tax with it. That would be insane. I can't even tell you alone how much I believe the economy could benefit from that kind of financial incentive. But I think some of these things, this culmination of things, are making it to where people are starting to go, is Kamala fake? Is she fake? And who has the better actual policies here? Eric Dougherty, September 12th, again, just 36 hours ago, roughly. Major Election Predictions Channel is forecasting this Pennsylvania result. Thoughts? They nailed 2020 and also guessed Fetterman's 2022 PA win. Remember, Fetterman, the big guy in Pennsylvania, he believes Trump's going to win. That's his last words. The governor of Pennsylvania thinks he's going to win. And this polling group that just crushed it last time thinks that Trump is ahead right now, too. So lots of interesting stuff going on, guys. Lots of interesting stuff from the polling side of things and the betting markets. And I think we're going to see more and more of that as we go ahead. Now, I want to jump over here to Kamala. I want to talk about Kamala in her own words. I want to kind of follow up with some of the topics of conversation that occurred during the debate, the well-rehearsed debate. So Benny Johnson posted this. It basically says what Kamala Harris is saying here, and you just have to hear it in your own words. And if you guys could just articulate exactly what this means, I would appreciate it so much.
My approach is about new ideas, new policies that are directed at the current moment. And also, to be very honest with you, my focus is very much in what we need to do over the next 10, 20 years to catch up to the 21st century around, again, capacity, but also challenges.
Can anybody actually tell me what that means? My focus is very much about what we need to do over the next 10 to 20 years. You'd be president for 4 to catch up to the 21st century. How are we catching up? What are we not caught up with? We're literally almost 90% of space payload comes from the United States. We're giving internet to the entire world. We're leading the EV industry for the entire world. Like, how far behind are we? Why aren't you using real things and examples and talking about what you're looking at doing? Again, 21st century around, again, capacity, but also challenges. What does that mean? This lady is a shell of a human being, in my opinion, who has no real value, no real thoughts of her own, and just gets things that are scripted. Now, I wanted to show this. This has a certain guy from Russia in it, and but up here you can see Robert F. Kennedy saying, Secretary Blinken, President Biden, stop it. Stop this reckless escalation. I say this not as a political partisan, but simply as a citizen of the world, because he's frightened, because down here in this video, we have the leader of Russia saying that this is unacceptable, providing long-range, high-precision, large munition payloads to be shot into Russian territory. And this is insane to me, guys. This really worries me. I'm going to lower my mic, make sure I'm not spiking. It still says I am. But this is insane to me that we're willing to take these kind of escalations and put them forth with a country that has over 1,000 nuclear weapons that are active. They've got like 10,000, but 1,000 are active. I'm going to move the mic a little bit more. And why would we risk destroying the entire world? If we start, what are we doing? Are we going to try and take him out? Because that kind of thing, I mean, what if he has nothing to lose? Why doesn't he just press the red button? You know what I mean? This is not the way. We need to help Russia and Ukraine in this war. We need to help them now that Ukraine has some land in Russia. We need to help them divvy it up and make it go away. And I do believe real Donald Trump will do that. He will do that. All right. I want to keep going because we're gonna just do some Kamala bashing, and then we're gonna jump back over to Trump. Lots of fun stuff that happened. I shouldn't say fun stuff because it was around September 11th, but there's a lot of interesting things that happened since the debate that are just fascinating if you don't already know them. Let's listen real quickly though. This is a Trump campaign released this ad saying "Lying Kamala." I think it's a really good one. We're gonna play it real quick.
My plan is to give a $50,000 tax deduction to start-up small businesses. But we've got to increase the corporate tax rate. State taxes are going to have to go up. I believe in the ambition, the aspirations, the dreams of the American people.
I will snatch their patent so that we will take over. The question is, do you have the will to do it? I have the will to do it.
So what she's saying is, if you're a free market capitalist and you have a patent on something, and she wants it, she'll go after it, and she'll take it from you. So what's the incentive to actually build out anything if the government is telling you that they're willing to take everything from you? Does that make any sense at all, guys? Do you think that makes sense?
The cost of housing is too expensive for far too many people.
Bidenomics is working. It's working. It's a term we're very proud of, I must tell you.
I'm going to invite you to attend one of Donald Trump's rallies. Now, I will tell you, the one thing you will not hear him talk about is you.
It was hardworking patriots like you who built this country, and it's hardworking patriots like you who are going to save our country. I want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
Fight, Daddy. My love, you must fight.
Fight. I love you, Dad. I'm proud of you, son.
I'm probably not going to play the rest of this because I'm afraid I'm going to get copyrighted. Might already. But anyway, it's a good video. It's a good video. Also, this one from Kevin Dalton says Kamala Harris just got hit with the biggest fact check in human history. If you haven't seen this, this is wonderful. So this is where she talks about how there's no U.S. presence actively in war zones or anything around the world. And that's just complete BS. There's people in Yemen, there's people in Syria, there's people everywhere, right? Deployed all over. The fact that she doesn't know this or is willing to lie about this is insane, but this is the best fact check in human history, in my opinion.
Well, I will tell you, I agreed with President Biden's decision to pull out of Afghanistan. 4 presidents said they would, and Joe Biden did. And as a result, America's taxpayers are not paying the $300 million a day we were paying for that endless war. And as of today, there is not one member of the United States military who is in active duty in a combat zone in any war zone around the world. The first time.
It's going to get good, guys.
What? But let's understand.
So where the fuck are we right now?
So you can tell they disagree, guys. These are active service members. I don't know exactly where they're deployed right now, but they're just like, what is going on? How can this lady just say this on television and people believe it? I just think that's amazing. It's really good stuff, guys. All right, let me check chat real quick. Anthony says, hey, Jesse. Oh, wait, we already got that. Tumbo says, nobody in Eastern Europe is afraid of him. In Eastern Europe, are you talking about Putin? Nobody's afraid of Putin, the guy with the nukes. Dude, that is just the dumbest response, Tumbo. I'm sorry, dude. Hey, and if you're from Ukraine, I get it. But to say that it doesn't matter, we're going to go into Russia, we're going to shoot precision weaponry into the country. This is something that over 2 years ago, Biden said they would never do. And now it's something where we're perfectly okay with the potential threat of nuclear Armageddon because Putin started the war. That's just a dumb response, dude. That's a warmongering response. I'm sorry. I'm just going to throw it out. I keep it real on this channel, dude. So that is not something we want. For 2.5 years, Ukraine and Russia have been going back and forth, and the amount of land that's been grabbed between the two of them is almost non-existent outside of Ukraine saying, hey, let's take the opportunity to go into Russia. In this area that isn't guarded because they won't think that we're doing it. And now they're getting backlash against that. How many hundreds of billions of dollars are we going to funnel in from the United States to support in another endless war? Why does this make any sense? We had this problem in Iraq. We had this problem in Afghanistan. We invaded and overthrew the dictator in Libya. We go to war all the time. What we should be doing is building a military that's so powerful that nobody will mess with us and start a war, but we shouldn't try and escalate ones that can lead to the end of humanity because Putin started it first. That makes no sense whatsoever, dude. None. All right, moving on. In case you guys heard this before, and again, I'm not trying to be mean. It's just insanity to me that people have the mindset of he started it. So what we thought was unthinkable before 2 years ago, what the West and Europe said was unthinkable. No way we're escalating by bringing planes or jets in. Now they have jets. No way we're escalating by giving them long-range weaponry and telling them that they can go into Russia. Now we're doing that. This is an escalation. This is working our way towards Armageddon. And I love the people of Ukraine, and I agree that they shouldn't have been invaded by somebody who is a blatant dictator in his own country. I agree with all of that. But we need to end the war for both of their sakes. Neither one of them benefit. Putin is hurt astronomically by what has happened. He is not doing well, okay? He has no capacity to invade Ukraine or any other country in the near future. And by near future, I mean like the next 5 to 10 years. He fucked up big time. So why not use that advantage that we have over him to help end this war, not turn it into World War III? I just don't get he started it, so let's glow the earth. It drives me nuts. Anyway, Trump War Room. Kamala repeats the lie that Goldman Sachs gave her an economic plan, their approval. The CEO of Goldman Sachs came out this morning and debunked this. So again, we'll listen to what Kamala has to say.
Goldman Sachs says my plan would grow our economy and his plan would shrink it.
Now let's listen to what the CEO of Goldman Sachs said.
Let's talk some politics. Debate was last night. Not sure if you had a chance to see it or not. Your own economic team, of course, has made news of late, suggesting that the bigger boost to growth would come from the Harris economic plan, at least over the first couple of years. She mentioned it last night. You feel the same?
So that report, which was mentioned last night in the debate, came from an independent analyst. And it's interesting, Scott. I think a lot more has been made of this than should be. What the report did is it looked at a handful of policy issues that have been put out by both sides, and it tried to model their impact on GDP growth. And the reason I say a bigger deal's been made of it is what it showed is the difference between the sets of policies that they put forward was about 0.2%. Okay, so economy grows. Okay, if you took these particular sets of policies they looked at, and by the way, we have no idea whether these policies, these things that are talked about will ultimately be implemented. What was the growth impact? And the differential was 0.2%.
And that was before Trump's plan of cutting or slashing overtime taxes and making it to where people get to keep all that money. So I would argue that he's definitely winning in that. And all he's saying, the CEO of Goldman Sachs is saying, no, we're not endorsing one plan over the other. This was an independent analyst, and all they were saying is there's going to be so much spending between each of them that we should see a boost in economically. Whether it's good for the economy over the long haul, which plan is actually better, which one helps America, they weren't making that judgment at all. And she's still running around on the campaign trail trying to pretend like she's got Goldman Sachs approval and that she's better for the economy. It's ridiculous. Also, let me just get caught up in chat on the X side of things. Lord Drake says Musk's support of Javier Milei's policies might indirectly endorse similar policies Trump could propose, influencing voters. This is positive. I agree. I think that's exactly what's going to happen. Kenny Brown, not good to sting a bear. Agreed. It's not, dude. If he has nothing to lose, what do you think his spite will be towards the West and humanity? He'll just shoot them all off, man. Shoot 1,000 of them. If he shoots hundreds of them, the world is devastated for a century. So I don't want that world for my child, if nothing else. Kevin, it would be nice to end ongoing global escalations and have a serious American economy by 2028. Dude, we have to get ready for China. They're arming themselves with nukes at an ever-increasing rate, and they've got Russia dependent upon them right now. We need to get Russia where they're not dependent upon China. We need to end that war in Europe. We need to get people to play nice, because we can't have a Russia and China united when China is threatening us, and China is weakening economically by the day, okay, and building up their war machine. We need to have deterrence in place. I very much agree with that. Adam, hey, what's up, bud? Dana, the executive, knows her from 1994 and their husbands from the 80s. Coincidence? No, I don't think so. And then at the same time, they're from the same sorority. Adam, it's insanity, right? Printed Pixels says, more spending, more inflation equals bigger Bitcoin run. Yes, I agree with that 100%. My worry with that is that if you have one that destroys America, then Bitcoin can still go up and be worth a ton of money, but your money doesn't mean as much as it used to. That's not the future I want. I want the one where we reduce government size immensely, lower rates, see our interest on debt retract greatly, build up our Bitcoin stockpile and reserve, and then have the crypto council fire Gary Gensler, or have Trump do it, fire Gary Gensler, and then have the crypto council really start to work with the financial institutions to be able to get us into the 21st century. Right, Kamala? That's how we could do that. Do you remember who the crypto and Bitcoin people are? Oh, no, you don't. That's right. I forgot. Printed Pixel says the stars are aligning for next year. I agree. I just want them to be good stars. Kyle Wright, the frustrating thing about Harris voters is they only watch the memes and shorts. I know. It's so weird because that's what they think of people that are MAGA. That's what I used to think of you guys. And now I realize you guys are way better educated than they are. They've been trained to look or not to look for facts and from real sources. Again, but you got to realize, guys, there's a bias there that hurts them. Okay, let's say this, a 9-to-1, conservatively 9-to-1 odds that they're going to see something negative versus Trump and something positive towards Kamala. So they're fed this bias all the time, and if all they ever do is look at these media sources, legacy media, they're going to believe it. But here's what I have faith, guys. I have faith because X grew by what, like 22% year over year growth. So not only did it not die, but it's becoming the number one news source for information on for the entire world. And so I have hope that that tide will change as legacy dies. We just have to make sure that somebody like Kamala doesn't get elected and then remove our, like, I don't know, censor X, shut down X like she's talked about doing. We can't have that kind of stuff. Palantir 3030, that's my boy Adam. Hey, Jesse, not the host, the executive of ABC. Oh, okay, good to know. All right, thanks for the distinction, man. I appreciate it. Alex Garcia, reduce government size and spending is something that has to be done. It's unsustainable. We're on an unsustainable path. If we don't do that, it's game over for us, guys. We really have to make these things happen. And again, this is funny because this is whole like let's ask Kamala about what she thinks about the economy and what she's going to do for it.
As a middle-class kid, and I am actually the only person on this stage who has a plan that is about lifting up the middle class and working.
I'll save you the other 40 seconds. She just talks about how she's going to lift people up, opportunity economy, yada, yada. Now, in a real interview, a live interview, hopefully not scripted, we'll see. Same shit, guys.
When we talk about
she's a robot,
bringing down prices and making life more affordable for people, what are one or two specific things you have in mind for that?
Well, I'll start with this. I grew up a middle-class kid. My mother raised my sister and me. She worked very hard.
I won't subject you to the whole thing. It's the exact same response, guys. It's like maybe she changes a word. Maybe she changes an inflection at one point. It's disturbing how scripted this woman is. Palantir 3030. The host was a sister. The executive is the person who introduced Kamala to her husband. Isn't that just insane? And again, and you know, she fought with ABC about this whole thing, about the notes and all this other stuff. I'm sure she just made it a stipulation of fact check him, don't fact check me. And yeah, those questions would be nice, right? I mean, that's just a guess, guys. This is speculation. I wouldn't want to accuse anything. Don't censor me, YouTubes. Printed Pixels. As a Brit living under communist rule, I mean, it's Keir Starmer. It's pretty much that, right? I'm all in on Bitcoin and miners at this point. If the U.S. survives, then my plan B is move there. Either way, isn't that crazy? But that's the kind of world we're living in right now, where British people are like, if America doesn't turn into a complete shit show, maybe I'll move there so that I can have freedom. That's the world we're in right now. Thank you for your comment, Printed Pixels. Palantir 3030, two different coincidence. Yeah, coincidence, quote. Printed Pixels, good luck, guys. Trump 2024. I hope so, man. Also, this is a huge thing I wanted to talk about, guys. Philip Anderson threw this out. This is some of the stuff I'm talking about. We could see if this is true, this is going to be fascinating. So it says breaking. It's now confirmed that Kamala Harris cheated and rigged the debate, or at least the accusation of it, right? Kamala was given the questions before the debate. Kamala was told that she would not be fact-checked no matter what she did. So let's read this. Let's read this real quick. I'll be releasing an affidavit from ABC Whistleblower. This is coming from a person who worked for the Trump campaign and who's like higher up, right? He said, I'll be releasing an affidavit from an ABC whistleblower regarding the debate. I have just signed a non-disclosure agreement with the attorney of the whistleblower. The affidavit states how the Harris campaign was given sample questions, which were essentially the same questions that were given during the debate, and separate assurances of fact-checking Donald Trump and that she would not be fact-checked. According to the affidavit, the states several other factors that were built into the debate to give Kamala a significant advantage. I have seen and read the affidavit, and after the attorney blacks out the name of the whistleblower and other information that could dox the whistleblower, I'll release a full affidavit. I'll be releasing the affidavit before this weekend is out, so we can expect that by Monday. Isn't that crazy? This is a big deal, guys. Also, I wanted to point to this. So this is Alexandra Mers. She's forwarding on something from E.J. Antony, PhD, who was talking about prices paid. He said prices paid by consumers and prices paid by businesses have both risen about 20% since January of 2021, while core prices excludes volatile food and energy are up about 18%. If businesses are being greedy, they're doing it wrong because they only took 2%. So if you have to be pretty stupid to believe that price controls are going to help. All they'll do is create food lines. All they'll do is destroy our ability to feed our children and give you less. And then the prices will go up more. And then the government will have to do things to subsidize those prices more. We've seen this playbook so many times throughout history. This is asinine to even think that this is something that would work. Alex Garcia, good luck. I feel for you, printed pixels. Dude, I do too. Also, I want you guys to see this. This person deleted this post later on, but the internet loves to keep things. This is in North Carolina. This is another Kamala Harris rally. Busing people into the rallies. Do they just pay people full time? I've seen interviews of people that get off this bus and they will not answer questions about whether or not they're paid. I know they're fed because I've heard them say that. I know they're fed and there's some accommodations that are made, but I don't know if they actually pay them to come to these rallies. But why is this a thing? Why is this a thing? Can any of you tell me why this is a thing? How is this acceptable that we just have 10, 20, 30 buses that come and ship people into the rallies so they can look full? Why is that? Why is it that Trump, on his closing speech, got 7 times as many views? Can you guys tell me? Let me just get caught up in chat here again. Oh, yeah, no, just price controls. Also, I want to show you guys this. Let me see. Freedom Fighter number 1 says on X, says, Harris speaks in emotion all the time, like those ads trying to persuade you to donate to starving children or dogs or something, and rarely giving any specific facts. Yes, that's exactly, it's communist garbage. Well, let's listen to Kamala Harris talk about Pennsylvania and why she's going to, why are you going to win Pennsylvania? Let's listen.
How are you feeling about Pennsylvania?
I am feeling very good about Pennsylvania because there are a lot of people in
Is she loaded on something?
Pennsylvania who deserve to be seen and heard. That's why I'm here in Johnstown.
Could just be tired.
And I will be continuing to travel around the state.
What was that? It's like, why even open your mouth for that? I don't get it. All right, let's keep going. So Elon said exactly, and it says, this is a very important thing. It's on September 12th. It's from Fisher King. It says, the trouble with voting for Kamala Harris is that she's fundamentally trivial and will not actually be in charge. Her debate performance beat expectations, but at root, it was a series of well-rehearsed 90-second speeches someone else wrote. That is what she would be as POTUS, an actress doing the bidding of whoever is in charge now while Biden hangs out on the beach. I 100% agree with this. Her responses were perfectly rehearsed, just like somebody who got the questions. And let's just look here. So this says, this is ABC. Report, ABC campaign coverage, 100% positive for Harris, 93% negative for Trump. I don't know why people want to live in a world where this is the bias that you have in legacy media that's going out to the majority of the citizens in a country. This is basically state media. This is the stuff that the CCP does. But you know what the difference with the CCP is? You know what they call the department? Instead of calling it ABC News, they call it the Department of Propaganda. At least they are honest with what's happening. Isn't that insane? That China is more honest about how they try and influence people's perception than the mainstream media is. I think that says a lot, guys. What are your thoughts about any of this? Also, this is huge. So it's just another example of illegal immigration and what's happening in this country. It says, illegal immigrant arrested for murder after a family of 4 was found dead in their burning home in Irondequoit, I don't even know how to say that, New York. Julio Cesar was wanted in the Dominican Republic for murder in 2019. And he was able to get here. Isn't that great? Isn't it great that we're not looking for murderers as they cross the border? 2 toddlers and a parent, Frame Ubaldo and Marangly Moreno Santiago, were allegedly killed by the illegal immigrant. This horrific scene in almost 32 years of doing his job. I have never seen anything like it, he said, the police chief. This is Labor Day. It's supposed to be a joyous day spending time with your family. This family doesn't have that anymore. Half of this family is gone in an instant. This is disgusting stuff, guys. This is so disgusting. We shouldn't be allowing this. Having completely open borders. How can people... I'm for legal immigration. I'm not for criminals coming over the border. I'm not for having it to where we're completely unable to sustain the pace of people coming over. I'm not for any of those things. Also, if you don't believe that Haitians eat cats, here it is. Now, this isn't in Ohio. It isn't in Springfield, but we literally have a picture of a guy in not in Springfield, but in Columbus, Ohio, who is a Haitian, who is carrying a duck, a goose that he wrung the neck of. And I'm going to show you other stuff. I believe I have in here too. Hopefully I bookmarked it well. That shows these same things. I won't show you this one. Let me see if these others are in here. I might have it under my other section. Oh, this is a simulation of nuclear war if Russia decides to press the button. So this is like this person, and this is a person saying, no, this is what would happen to Russia. 45 million Russians would be vaporized. Do you realize that if we drop this many nukes in Russia, you've destroyed everything to the south and east of it too from the nuclear fallout, and you probably put us into a global winter that could last 100 years for the Earth and kill us all. But we have people that are literally saying, hey, Russia won't do it because we'll destroy them. You destroy the entire world. The entire world. This is the bet we're playing. It's like this is war games from the 80s all over again, and there's nobody at the helm with any reason. This says if this just talks about Kamala wanting to ban.
He has lost his privileges, and it should be taken down. And
talking about
the
wanting to
bottom line
ban
is that
Trump,
you can't
sitting
say
president.
You have one rule for Facebook, and you have a different rule for Twitter. The same rule has to apply, which is that there has to be
and I won't finish it, but she literally says like we ban the platform. All the rest of this I've shown you. Let's jump over to Trump. Let's get to the better stuff now. Let's see here. You got more chat too. Alex Garcia. Oh, that was price controls. Alex Garcia. Those bus people are working overtime right now. Are they? Hey, if they go to the Trump rallies, they'll be able to get no taxes on that overtime. So we need to get them to switch over. We need to start busting them in for Trump. Printed Pixels. Wasn't there a job ad which was revealed a few weeks ago? I think it was revealed they actually do pay them to attend. It wouldn't surprise me at all, dude. You also said, Jesse, did you see the clips of the American woman whose father was Haitian? Saying, yes, I might actually even have that in here. I'm not sure if I added it or not. I get kind of tired of talking about the dead pet thing, but it's very real. And also, there's a video from the liberal organization that are trying to keep pets safe that are talking about how in New York State there are Haitians that are committing, performing voodoo and or just eating all kinds of pets, and that they're not getting there in time to save them. There's so many things showing that they're eating pets. There's just like what you said. There's literally a guy saying, "Hey, dude, I'm from Haiti, and I'm definitely voting Trump." But like I can tell you, they eat pets all the time based on these two things, based on extreme poverty and based on voodoo. Anyway, let's keep going. So Elon Musk says extreme government overspending is bankrupting America and causing inflation. James Lavish said, good morning. In the month of August, the U.S. government took in $307 billion in taxes and fees and spent $687 for deficit. So this just shows, guys, if they tax the billionaires, the rich people, the people that make over 100, oh, you make over 100 million. Oh, you don't make over 100 million. Taxes not affect you. Yes, it fucking will, because those people will dilute their holdings in their companies. They will divest from America. They will start laying off people. And here's the thing: you can do all the taxation in the world. You won't fund the federal government because they've got a $380 billion deficit. It's fucking insane. I mean, this is insane. This is insane. This is unsustainable. We are on a path that we have to fix. If we don't fix it, we're going to be destroyed. There's only one party talking about reducing the size of government. Only one of them. All right, real quickly. Breaking. J.D. Vance just said Trump will fire every single official at the FBI, the CIA, the Department of Homeland Security, and the CDC, etc., that forced big tech to censor the truth about the 2020 election and COVID. I love this. Trump will also strip security clearances from the 51 intelligence officials who labeled Hunter Biden's laptop as Russian disinformation. Because again, after the fact, we know that's true. Where are the liberals? Why aren't you saying, whoa, why did we do this? This isn't true. We should have never said this. Where are you guys? Where are you? This says yes. Oh, wait, no, this is JD Vance. We're going to let him talk. I need to do that more. I talk too much.
Thank you for clarifying that. Yeah. On the subject of censorship, since we're on with Elon, we know what's happening in Brazil. Sure. They blocked X. Now they've taken Starlink, to my understanding. Are we going to see any blowback if you and President Trump take office
Yes.
about all of the censorship that happened before?
Yeah.
Mark Zuckerberg just released that letter saying, "Oh, I fell to victim to the FBI pressuring me to censor." Are we going to see any repercussions for people that censored?
Yes, we're going to fire the people who censored. We're going to fire the people who were telling Mark Zuckerberg and all the other technology companies that they needed to censor. Fire the 50 intelligence operatives who said that the Hunter Biden laptop was Russian disinformation. A lot of those people still have security clearances. Strip every single one of those people of their security clearances. Fire every single person. You cannot lie. Take your position of public trust and lie to the American people for political purposes. It's disgraceful, and people have to suffer consequences for it.
All right. Daniel Erickson says, you're wrong about Ukraine and Russia. Daniel, who are you voting for? Who are you voting for and why? Also, I'm not wrong. You said Russia has ambition regardless of Ukraine, and it will continue if we are weak. We're not weak. We've been fighting them for 2.5 fucking years on a war that they thought would take 3 days. We've destroyed a vast majority of their military weaponry. We've devastated their economy. We've created sanctions on them that have literally stripped them away from the Western system of banking. They are under the nutsack of China right now. Russia is so weak right now, and Putin will be dead in 10 fucking years. So why do we need to risk nuclear apocalypse by escalating a war? Justify to me, Daniel, why we need to be giving long-range weaponry that can go deep into Russia and hit Moscow and threaten a nuclear war. Tell me why that has to happen. Justify that. Tired Trader from X says, Annie Jacobson's book on atomic war is incredibly eye-opening and well worth a read, listen, and audiobook. I'll check that one out, man. I do know a lot about the threats of atomic war, and it blows my mind that people think that we can't handle Putin for another decade after what's just happened over the last 2.5 years. The same people that will tell you how strong Ukraine is and how weak Russia is will also tell you that if we stop fighting him and find some kind of treaty and establish peace in the region, that he's immediately going to invade other countries in Europe. Well, that's probably not going to happen. Poland has upped their defense budget massively, and Ukraine is better armed than any other fucking country in Europe. So just make your points. I'd love to hear them. The CIA is also supposed to stay completely unbiased and not speak on American. This is also Tire Trader on X, sorry. CIA is supposed to stay completely unbiased and not speak on American political matters. But now we know that they don't do that, and should punish them for their blatant lies that 100% swayed the election. Yeah, dude. Since when do the FBI and CIA get the right to lie and then tell Mark Zuckerberg that this is misinformation and you need to censor it? This happened in America. We had some of the agencies that are literally supposed to protect us manipulate us. And if they can do that for stupid things like Hunter Biden's laptop, what else can they do it with? Weapons are already in the hands of Ukraine and have range of 280 kilometers, which is out of range. Yeah, but these are like high precision weapons. It's different. F. Christoph. These are even better weapons. We're continuing to escalate that war. Why? How does that make any fucking sense whatsoever? The war should be coming to an end. When did the Democratic Party become the party of war? We have war in Russia and Ukraine. We have war in Israel and Gaza. We literally dumped and left hundreds of billions of dollars worth of equipment, whatever the number was. I think it's not 100 billion, maybe it's 10 or 20, whatever. We left massive amounts of weaponry for the Taliban in Afghanistan and a completely botched removal from that I think led to a lot of this right now. We need to get out of these wars, guys. We need to find something that both Zelensky and Putin are not happy with and make the wars end, because people are dying needlessly for no point. And there's no strategic advantage to us right now. It makes more sense to make this thing go away and then get these guys to work with each other, whether they hate each other or not. And here's the thing. If you wait for everybody to be happy with the situation. It will never happen. It will never happen. This is how war works. Unless somebody de-escalates the war, it never ends. You guys really need to study up on war more. You need to understand war better. Why AOC is silent about this? Are you talking about Alexandra Ortiz? Who are you talking about? All right, let's go down here. So Elon said you could zero out all of the country's billionaires. It wouldn't solve the deficit. And he's 100% right.
If we don't cut government spending, something really bad's going to happen. This is crazy. Our spending is so far in excess of revenue, it's insane. Like, you could zero out all billionaires in the country. This is all this like anti-billionaire BS. If you zeroed out all the billionaires, you still wouldn't solve the deficit. If we don't cut government spending...
Yeah, so think about that. Oh, thanks, Nikki, for joining, man. I appreciate you. Think about that, though. If you zero out all the billionaires, you still can't help the deficit, and you wouldn't do it for long, right? Ortiz literally said that nobody liked Harris and that nobody would vote for her and that she wouldn't be the presidential candidate like the day or two before she was the presidential candidate. So she definitely doesn't like her. Anyway, I'm going to move on here. So Defiant L said, "It's so beautiful I could cry." Says the Seattle Times, Trump falsely claimed during the presidential debate Tuesday that protesters took over a big portion of Seattle during the Capitol Hill organized protest in 2020. Community note put, the Seattle Times themselves have reported on the very real incident in June of 2020 where violent protesters forcefully took over a portion of Seattle's Capitol Hill area that was dubbed Shaz, or the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone, or CHOP, the Capitol Hill Organized Protest, and it's got a link to their own fucking page. Love it. All right. And the president of Law and Order has had the National Fraternal Order of Police, with over 377,000 members, endorse him as the president of the United States. Why do you think they're doing that? They're doing that because they're disgusted by the current environment that they're seeing, where they can't go after criminals for anything that they're doing. Okay? That's why they're doing this, because they're seeing the world become less safe. Also, there were new crime statistics out. I'm trying to get the actual official details on it, but Trump posted it on his feed, so I'm trying to hone in on them. Community notes for the win, Saman says. Yes, I agree. On X, thanks, dude. That's totally the truth. But yeah, looking over here, it says new opinion poll. Again, more polling data. In Israel, the vast majority of Israelis prefer real Donald Trump over Kamala Harris. 58% want Trump. They want Trump because she didn't even show up for Netanyahu's speech when he came to town after she was supposed to be the presidential candidate. She decided to go to a sorority thing. Now, here, I can't... We'll see how much I can play. I'm probably going to get demonetized. Who cares? This is Peter Thiel talking about the election and being very honest with his feelings about it.
Be a razor-thin close election, then I'm pretty sure Kamala will win because they will cheat, they will fortify it, they will steal the ballots, and so you know if we can answer them in the event that it's close, I don't want to be involved. In the event that it's not close, I don't need to be involved. And so that's sort of a straightforward analysis right there.
Great jumping off point. How much cheating?
You can see David Sachs is loving this.
On a percentage basis, do you think happens every
86 billion? Nikki, is that the number of is that the value of military equipment that was left in Afghanistan? Was it 86 billion?
year? How much? And do you think Trump actually won the last
time?
You need
to be careful with the verbs. So cheating, stealing, that implies something happened.
So I won't be using those words anymore. I'm going to use fortify. I like this. That maybe I can avoid the censors.
In the dark of night. I think the verb you're allowed to use is fortify.
We don't want to get canceled on YouTube.
Ballot harvesting. I mean, it was, it's all sort of, there were all these rule changes. It was sort of done in plain daylight. And, but yeah, I think our elections are they're not perfectly clean. Otherwise, we could examine it. We could have vigorous debate about it.
Well, what would you change then? What should change? Because we all want.
He has a very clear and simple response, and this is the thing that the SAVE Act is asking for, guys. This is why the government might shut down in 2 weeks.
Everybody's votes to count. We want it to be clean. I'm talking about the audience here.
I don't know. At a minimum, you'd try to run elections the same way you do it in every other Western democracy. You have one-day voting. You have practically no absentee ballots. You have and it's one day where everything happens. It's not this 2-month elongated process. That's the way you do it in every other country.
Why don't we do that?
You have some somewhat stronger voter ID, and make sure that the people who are voting have a right to vote.
Make it a national holiday.
But that's basically what you do in every other Western democracy, and it used to be much more like that in the U.S. I mean, it's meaningfully decayed over the last 20.
You know what it feels like, guys? And this is just wild speculation, but it almost feels like the C word, the pandemic word, was used in order to be able to keep us in our houses around election time so that we could delegitimize voting within this country by having paper ballots, by not doing having more of the rigorous stuff. We weren't even that rigorous before, but it just seems like we've pushed ourselves to where voting is not intact and it's not safe. And then now Democrats are asking for illegal immigrants to be able to vote. And so I feel like literally Chuck Schumer saying that he gives them a new name now. I don't remember, like freedom something. I don't remember. First time, whatever terminology. They got all kinds of words. They're trying to figure out what gets the best buzz. But basically saying that we want the immigrants to be U.S. citizens, all the illegal immigrants we shoved in, the 10 million plus, and we want them to change the votes and vote Democrat. And I just think that's bullshit. That's incredibly insane. Freedom Fighter says in X, most of my family lives in Lithuania right now next to Ukraine. The mainstream media in Lithuania is just as bad as ours. They're pushing the narrative that since Trump gets along with Putin, it means that Trump would easily hand over Lithuania to Putin. Many Lithuanians are scared of Trump because of that, but it's simply not true. The truth is that Ukraine and Russia war would not have started. I believe that's true, and even if that wasn't true, I used to have that same kind of mentality listening to Trump's words saying, oh, well, he wouldn't even defend them. He would just hand over Europe to Russia. But he never has said that, guys. All of his words are, they need to pay. We'll defend anybody. He even said that about Taiwan. He goes, we'll defend them. They need to pay. They need to pay. They need to be a greater portion of the military budget. They need to pay for a larger amount of this because we're helping them out, but we shouldn't be paying 70% of the cost of these wars, 60 or 70. It shouldn't be that way, right? What is our vested interest in that region? Is it 60 to 70%? Is it us creating a deficit that's even worse and unsustainable in our own country? It makes no sense. We can make this war end, and we can make it end at the benefit of both of these countries. And there might be some land loss for Ukraine during it. And again, Russia, if they want the land back that's been taken, they're going to have to concede some of the other stuff that they took. But you got to remember, the eastern side, I've watched this war in Ukraine and Russia. I know this better than fucking any of you, unless you're there. You know why? Because I've literally watched the war maps. I've watched footage from sources from the Russian side and from the Ukrainian side for 2 years. For 2 years, I watched this stuff for hours a day. Okay? And I can tell you this. The people that are fighting these wars are kids and old people because all the fighters are fucking dead. All the regular fighting age people are pretty much dead, and they have to, on both sides, pick people up who want to live their fucking lives, and they've got to shovel them into buses and push them out into war to be cannon fodder against the other sides. And again, the eastern side of Ukraine, they want to be a part of Russia anyway. If you look at the voting before any of this, the voting indicated that they would rather secede and go to Russia across the eastern portions of Ukraine. So why isn't that respected in any way either? Okay, this war needs to end. That's my take. Mark LeBlanc, the illusion that the weak are going to be kept safe was the moment of peak gullibility amongst the jabbed. I'm one of the jabbed. I agree with that statement wholeheartedly. The old safe and effective rug pull. Yeah, they're looking out for our interests, right? Trump didn't care about humanity. Yeah, bullshit. All right, real quickly here. This is another thing. So Trump signed an executive order revoking college degree requirements for federal jobs on June 26th of 2020. Now Kamala Harris, if you look here, it says, far too long, our nation encouraged one path to success, a four-year college degree. As president, I will get rid of the unnecessary degree requirement for federal jobs. She's literally trying to take credit for something he already did. Again, this is just like the child tax credit. Trump said that he was going to do a child tax credit, so now we have to do the same thing, and we'll up it by $1,000, and people will be ignorant enough to think that we're the ones that are for change, even though we've been in power for almost 4 years. Again, this is a Michigan GE Mitchell research, and it shows pretty close data points between Harris and Trump. This is another one just from another poller in Michigan. So Michigan, in my mind, is crazy close. Let's see what else we got here. Let me keep going down. Oh, this is a great one. There's a few good ones, guys. I got a lot of stuff we got to talk about. If Kamala underperforms, all right, whatever. That one's like so-so. This one I want you guys to hear. This is a response that Trump has from a reporter when they're asked about water in California. I don't think people realize this. It sounds like, from the research I did after watching this video, that California could solve their water issues overnight. The vast majority of it. This is insane. And Trump sees this. I didn't even know about this. This is crazy to me. You guys look at this. You guys tell me what you think here.
I agree.
What will you do to help people in this state whose homes are being damaged again and again, or are falling, off of these cliffs right behind us, or burned down, or for the people across the country whose homes are jeopardized by natural disasters?
This is my favorite question of the day. You're asking me what would I do for. Let's talk California first. Is that okay? You mind? So, I was riding with Devin Nunes and some congressmen 4 years ago. I was riding up north in California. And I looked at these fields that were massive. I was telling John, right? My favorite question. I love that somebody would ask me this question. And I never told you to do it, right? Who are you with?
Spectrum News.
Good. Spectrum. It's good. New, hot, right? It's hot. It's doing well. But that's because you ask good questions. So what happened, I'm saying why I look at this field, and it's massive. And in the middle of the field is a little spot of the most green, plush land you've ever seen. I said, and then I'd see another one. These little plots, like 1 and 2 acres, and you'd have 1,000 acres that's barren and dead and dark. And I said, what's the problem here? What is that green acreage? The soil is unbelievably fertile, but they have no water. I said, so do you have a drought? No, we don't have a drought. We have the water is cut off upstate, up in the north. You know that? And the water, in order to protect a certain little tiny fish called a smelt, they send millions and millions of gallons of water out to the Pacific Ocean, way up north. Never even gets close to here. And in Los Angeles and Beverly Hills, all these rich areas, they want to give you like 38 gallons of water to use. You buy a house for a lot of money, and then you're allowed to use 38 gallons of water. But you have no water down here. And the reason you have no water, you have the canals. The reason you have no water is because Gavin Newsom didn't want to do it. I had it all done. I had the Department of Commerce at the time. Believe it or not, they're the ones that rule on this particular issue. So you have millions of gallons of water pouring down from the north with the snow caps in Canada and all pouring down. And they have essentially a very large faucet. And you turn the faucet, and it takes 1 day to turn it. It's massive. It's
I'm going to speed it up.
as big as the wall of that building right there behind you.
He's right.
And you turn that, and all of that water goes aimlessly into the Pacific. And if they turned it back,
and we're doing this for the smelt, and they're having to restock this fish. They're having to restock it all the time because it continues to die. But for ecological reasons, we're not allowing all this water in so that we can save this one fish that's already kind of dying anyways, and that we're constantly having to restock. But we could solve massive amounts of the water issues that are going on in California. Why wouldn't we?
all of that water would come right down here and right into Los Angeles. They wouldn't have to have people.
Is anybody from California? The research I'm doing on this tells me this is true. Can anybody respond with that?
Not use more than 30 gallons and 32 gallons. They want to do that, they're trying to do that. And you have so much water, and all those fields that are right now barren, the farmers would have all the water they needed. And you could revert water up into the hills where you have all the dead forests, where the forests are so brittle. Because no place is like California. I go to Austria. The head of Austria tells me, we have trees that are much more flammable than what you have in California. We never have forest fires because they maintain their forests. And you have all that water that could be used as what they call water flow.
Also, can I just say, isn't it amazing how much more articulate and able to answer questions like this on the fly that Donald Trump is? If you guys didn't watch the Econ Club, this is a 6-minute video of him responding just about one question, and look at how intelligently he is able to speak to it versus somebody like Kamala who can't even tell you what's going on in Pennsylvania and why anybody would vote for her or why she's going to win the state.
where the where the land would be damp. And you'd stop many of these horrible fires that are costing billions and billions of dollars by the federal government, etc. So one thing I'm going to do for California, vote for me, California. I'm going to give you.
Oh, sorry. Oh. Killed it.
You're not going to have the problems that you have right now. We're going to lower your taxes. We're going to bring the car industry back because your car industry is gone. We're bringing it back to Detroit at levels that you'll never see again. We'll bring it back to better than it was 30 years ago. But with this group, everything is dead. The automobile industry is dead. The water coming here is dead. And Gavin Newsom is going to sign those papers. And if he doesn't sign those papers, we won't give him money to put out all his fires. And if we don't give him the money to put out his fires, he's got problems. He's a lousy governor. And he treated me very nicely, and I treated him very nicely when I was president. But he's done a lousy job. But there's a case. I said, Gavin, will you sign? It took him like a month and a half or 2 months, and then he decided for political reasons. And then we got hit with COVID, and we had to solve another problem. But you're going to have so much money, Mr. Mayor. You're going to have so much money from economic activity and growth. And you're going to have water like you never thought. Now, in your case, maybe you don't want so much water. But we'll bypass your beautiful area. But we have tremendous amounts, millions of gallons of water that's shoved right into the Pacific Ocean where it doesn't make a dent.
Yeah, again, I just don't understand why we would be diverting water to the Pacific Ocean when California desperately needs it. Hazy IPA. I know California Delta fishermen blame the water shortage on the wine industry, which is extremely powerful. I've heard that too. Also, cashews and almonds should not be grown in the U.S. because we don't have enough rainfall. Again, all these kind of things make sense, right? You grow. My wife loves gardening, especially flowers. She's learned the hard lesson over the years that if you grow something in the right climates where they adapt and they do well, because if you're not doing that, you're just doing constant maintenance to try and make it to where they can survive. Why would you do that? I 100% agree, Hazy. You should only grow things that you're supposed to. He says, and Monsanto is very powerful and controls a lot of the water in the region. I believe that. There's stuff like that we need to pull back. We need to take this power away from the elites. It blows my mind that the Democratic Party is the party of the elites. Back when I was a kid, in the 80s, 90s, 80% of the political donations from the wealthy came from Republicans. And now it's coming from 70% of the wealth for political contributions is going to Democrats. It's just like, it's so wild to see the shift over decades, the shift you get from age and experience to be able to see how much things have changed. When I was a kid, the party of war were Republicans. The party of freedom and hippie and like let's not judge people by who they are, their sexual orientation, all this other stuff. Like that was the Democrats. And now Democrats are like, judge people by the color of their skin. If they're black, they deserve more. They deserve reparations. Judge people by their sexuality. Judge people for, it's just the opposite. It's like we're living in the Matrix, watching all these things completely reverse over time. I do not understand it, guys. I do not understand it. Let me keep going down here. 1 second here. Let me just make sure I didn't skip anything important. Again, right here, this is just the escalation. This is the U.S. Secretary Blinken talking and UK Foreign Secretary David Lammy talking about how they're going to provide these long-range, high-precision weapons to Ukraine, which I think is a horrible idea. Clandestine said, "We're witnessing a fascinating post-debate shift. The ABC fact checks were not true, which was inversely drawn more attention to these topics, aka the Streisand effect. Springfield, late-term abortion, gun confiscation, public discourse on acts has thoroughly debunked ABC's facts." Anyway, I agree. So we'll get down to the summary here because it's a decently long one. But it says, initially, I didn't think this debate would have much impact on public perception. I thought it would benefit Kamala with several points right away. And I think it's done that initially. And it says, or change the calculus in November. But as I observed the public's response on social media, I would say definitely TikTok. I think this performance from ABC woke people up more than they would have projected. And normally the moderators are more subtle with their bias, but ABC made it so obvious that some of the remaining normies are just noticing glitches in the matrix. And I agree with this. This is actually something, you even saw this from some of the immediate post-debate polls where people were like, now that I've seen this debate, guys, I don't know. I feel like This is bullshit. This is really biased, and I'm not for it. And I love that. I love that it seems to be waking people up, if nothing else. I wrote, help the people of Springfield by voting for real Donald Trump. And this just says, in the last several weeks, it's from JD Vance, in the last several weeks, my office has received many inquiries from actual residents of Springfield who have said their neighbors, pets, or local wildlife were abducted by Haitian migrants. It's possible, of course. I showed you a video, for people that saw it, I showed a video of Javier, I can't remember his name. He's got like 6.7 million followers, but of a guy literally saying, I saw people like literally grab these things or grab these animals like ducks and other things from this local lake and break their necks and take them away. No video of it, but again, we've got pictures in Columbus, so why wouldn't it be true in Springfield? And I think the big thing here is the massive influx and the public discourse in that region. Even the mayor said they don't have enough federal funding. How is the federal government going to be throwing more money to Springfield while we continue to let Haitian migrants come into that region? And how is that sustainable? How are they going to pay these bills with all the other taxation that they're doing to pay for all the wild things that Kamala's trying to do with her policies, like the $25,000, instant down payment that would just immediately raise the price of every house by $25,000. It would do nothing in substance whatsoever. And then the $50,000 small business thing, like for the tax deduction stuff, it's like, dude, small businesses, 95% of them won't even be able to use all this money in their first year of business. It's just all this bullshit. And I think it's going to come down around them. I think the lies are coming out. Kelly said, I'm no longer, or this is a post from Alan Dershowitz, and this is old. I think I did this last time, but just saying I'm no longer a Democrat. I can't support this party. Anyway, I think that's a lot of it for today, guys. There are other things too. I didn't have them bookmarked. I thought I did, but there's oh, you know what? I'll show this real quick. So if you guys didn't see this, I don't even know if I can find it. Trump, Pennsylvania. You know what? I won't even try and look at it. It's going to be too obscure. But Trump in Pennsylvania, both at the 9/11 commemorative event, people were yelling his name, and then also when they went to an event, I think it was in Pennsylvania, very close to D.C. There were a group of people where Kamala and Biden walked into this event, and they were all sitting like in this warehouse, and nobody even paid them attention or said anything to them. And then Trump comes in like 30 seconds later, and everybody's like, woo! I think this is a sentiment for a lot of America right now, where, again, we're seeing these 7-1 views for Trump versus Harris for closing debate comments. And we're seeing just, when I look at social media and I compare the following of Kamala Harris to the following of Trump, which is about 5-1 for Trump, and I just look at all these things, I'm sorry. It seems like the excitement and the will of the people are for Trump, and I'm sticking with that, and I want him to win. But I do want to remind people that even if he doesn't, the odds of Kamala being able to take the Senate are like almost non-existent. So I would encourage people, go out, do everything you can to help support the Trump campaign in this election. And then at the same time, I'll get demonetized for this video, so again, do whatever you can to support me too. It costs $2 a month to be able to speak in the comments section of this group, and then with that, you get the ability during my morning show where we do the market open, and during the market recap after the stock market is closed Monday through Friday. You can ask for stocks, and I will look up the financials and the technicals of the company, and sometimes we delve into fundamentals as well. So you can get my input and thoughts on those. And then you can also talk on the weekend Bitcoin miner comparison video that's going to be coming out Sunday afternoon. So again, let's do our best, guys, to help push this along, to ensure that there's integrity in our election, to ensure that our country is getting better, to ensure that our country is lowering its deficits and lowering the size of government so that they have less control over our daily lives. And let's encourage growth in this company using capitalism. Let's fight back what's happening on our universities that I've seen tons of videos of, where we see people handing out pamphlets for socialism and Marxist communism to young kids that are doing these free Palestine marches that are funded by billionaires in Qatar that want to influence our universities to get them to hate the systems that have made this country great. Let's fight that stuff back. Let's make this country better. And I can honestly say this, and I'll say this: let's make this country great again. I always hated that slogan. I hated it. I hated it because I'm like, America is great, but man, as of late, I gotta say, we need to make America great again. So vote for real Donald Trump. A vote for real Donald Trump is a vote for Robert F. Kennedy. It's a vote for Elon Musk. It's a vote for Tulsi Gabbard. It's a vote for, I forget her name, the VP candidate for Robert F. Kennedy. It's a vote for J.D. Vance. It's a vote for Vivek Ramaswamy. It's a vote for Balaji. It's a vote for people that are some of the most brilliant minds that we have in modern day. And they will work to make our government better and to help Donald Trump's vision, of which I think is thoughtful, and I do think he cares about America. I think if nothing else, even if you don't like Donald Trump, I didn't like him for years. I'm starting to. My wife still doesn't. She's still going to vote for him. But if nothing else, do it, because I think if you think this man does care, he's got an ego. His ego is strong. His ego is strong. Maybe his emotional intelligence isn't that great, right? But I do believe, if nothing else, if you don't believe in his character, believe in the fact that he cares about his legacy and wants this country to be great, so that the history books say that with his name. So even if you don't like the guy, walk away with that and then vote for the right person come election time. I love you guys. I hope you have a great day. Thank you for everybody that followed on X. I don't know how many views we got on there. Over 2,000 it says. I appreciate that. You guys have a great day. Let's do this again in the not too distant future. Bye, guys. Peace out. Love ya.